Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so glad you're here with us today because we're diving straight into the trenches of one of the wildest tech mysteries I've seen in a long time. We're going to peel back the layers of a massive, hyper-nationalistic marketing campaign to reveal the cold, hard reality of global supply chains. It's a crazy story, full of grand promises, hidden code, and a spectacular courtroom drama that absolutely shook the tech world. Let's get right into it. To really understand the stakes here, I want you to picture the sheer immense scale of India's smartphone market. We are talking about 700 million users, 700 million people actively waiting for a truly homegrown, privacy-first device that they can actually trust. The demand for a phone that genuinely protects user data from foreign surveillance is just absolutely massive. It is literally the holy grail of the consumer electronics market right now. All right, let's jump right into part one, the patriotic pitch. So let me take you back to July 2025. A company called NxtQuantum Shift Technologies, led by their CEO, Madhav Sheth, who, by the way, is a guy pretty well known in the industry for changing corporate allegiances incredibly fast, launched a brand called AI+. Their entire goal? To capitalize on that exact dream of a 100% secure, sovereign device. And man, they came out of the gate swinging. They heavily anchored their budget-friendly phones, specifically the Nova 5G and the Pulse series, directly to the government's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India. By setting up hardware assembly in Noida, they were able to sell this beautiful, deeply patriotic story of technological self-reliance. It wasn't just pitched as a phone, it was pitched as a movement. Imagine buying this, right? You turn on your brand new phone, and boom, right there, flashing on a tricolor boot screen is the explicit promise: your data stays safe in India. AI Plus completely positioned itself as the lone, virtuous warrior standing between you and sketchy overseas big tech surveillance. They loudly touted their local data centers and their totally custom operating system. It was basically the ultimate feel-good underdog story. But that leads us straight into part two, the Shanghai connection. Here is where things get kinda crazy. When independent tech reviewers actually cracked these phones open, and I mean armed with benchmark tools, packet sniffers, and literal screwdrivers, the patriotic paint began to peel almost immediately. Hiding deep inside the software, they found these very un-Indian house guests. We're talking pre-installed system apps with names like Phone Clone, Clean Assistant, and Mobile Butler. But here's the absolute kicker. You couldn't delete them. It was completely impossible. And when security researchers tracked where these undeletable apps were sending data, the trail didn't exactly lead to a secure server in Mumbai or Delhi. There was this staggering night and day contrast going on. On one hand, you have their loud marketing claims of a completely custom, sovereign NxtQuantum OS. But the reality? You've got background processes and unremovable bloatware chatting happily with servers linked to Shanghai COMM Technologies, which is a Chinese firm known for software and manufacturing services. It was the exact opposite of what was promised on the box. And it definitely wasn't just the software either. The hardware teardowns by top tech channels were the real nail in the coffin here. When they opened the devices up, they found out that the budget Pulse variants shared the exact same internal blueprints with standard budget Chinese ODMs. And the flagship, the highly anticipated Nova Flip, well, it wasn't exactly a triumph of Indian engineering. It appeared to be a direct, shameless rebranding of an already existing ZTE device. No way around it. So you really have to ask, what did Made in India actually mean for AI+? Honestly, it turned out that final assembly in Noida basically meant taking a pre-made foreign motherboard and just screwing it into a plastic shell. The core intellectual property, the software framework, the hardware design, the whole shebang was rooted entirely in the exact foreign supply chains that AI+ claimed they were protecting their consumers from. Which brings us to part three, suing the messengers. Now, if you're a company caught in this massive, glaring contradiction between your marketing and your actual product, what do you do? Well, NxtQuantum Shift Technologies chose the ultimate corporate defensive maneuver. They called their lawyers. Mapping this out, the rapid acceleration is wild. We go from a glittering patriotic launch in July 2025 straight into these brutal hardware teardowns, and suddenly, by April 2026, we are sitting in an austere courtroom battle in the Delhi High Court. Things escalated at breakneck speed. And the legal action they took,
It was incredibly aggressive. We aren't talking about a polite corporate request for clarification here. It was a massive, sweeping ex parte gag order. It temporarily nuked critical review videos right off the internet and included these really broad John Doe or Ashok Kumar provisions. Essentially, they were threatening anyone else who even dared to point a camera at the inside of their phone. Think about the pure, spectacular irony for a second. You've got a brand that built its entire identity on selling Indian sovereignty and protecting citizens from foreign overreach, yet the literal second they got exposed, they leveraged local Indian courts to silence Indian creators from telling Indian consumers the truth about foreign intellectual property. I mean, you honestly couldn't write a more ironic script if you tried.
But wow, did that legal bullying backfire spectacularly. The entire tech community rallied instantly behind the independent creators. It turned this niche hardware argument into a massive mainstream debate about free speech. And once the courts got a closer look at the situation, judges began raising some serious eyebrows over procedural gaps. They started demanding material disclosures, and get this, they even summoned the CEO, Madhav Sheth, to personally explain why his supposedly sovereign phone looked remarkably global under the hood.
And finally, part 4, the illusion deflated.
Look, to be entirely fair to the realities of the smartphone industry, because context is absolutely crucial here, pretty much every budget brand out there relies on original design manufacturers, or ODMs, to keep their costs down. It's a brutal, cutthroat market, and sharing factory lines is just how it works. So the actual crime here wasn't using a Chinese ODM. The crime was the staggering, massive gap between their marketing fiction and their technical reality. If you sell a phone based purely on specs and price, nobody cares about a shared factory line. But if you wrap your device in the national flag, charge a premium for sovereignty, and use fear-mongering about foreign spying to sell units, well, your mobile butler app absolutely should not be sending telemetry data across the border. So where exactly does that leave AI Plus today? Well, currently, they're desperately trying to iterate their way out of this PR nightmare. They're scrambling to push out software updates to try and clean up the OS. They're expanding their lineup with the new Nova 2 series. And essentially, they are just trying to prove to the market that they actually have the capability to build a genuine, secure product from the ground up. It's an uphill battle, for sure. Ultimately, this entire saga serves as a phenomenal masterclass for us as consumers. It proves that the market is maturing, right? We just can't be blindly swayed by nationalistic buzzwords or celebrity executives anymore. We've got to look past the tricolor boot screen, really rely on independent reviews, and always ask ourselves this critical question. Next time a brand tries to sell you patriotism, what is really inside the box? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious out there, and I will catch you in the next one.